Hello viewers, my name is Rod David Onana Chana II, the Paramount Chief of Acholi. I'm happy to be talking to you through UBC. The history of this chiefdom dates back to the 1400s when we were when our forefathers were still in Sudan in a place called Shilluk before we moved down during those days. It was either because of disease, war, or looking for pastures for animals. That is when then we came and settled here in Acholi. Acholi is a very unique tribe in that all the clans are royal. They have chiefs who are royals in all the clans. And where I come from is the largest clan called Parish in Acholi. And that is why I'm the Paramount Chief of Acholi. The elephant is the emblem for the Acholi as a whole. They chose the elephant because the elephant is mighty. The elephant is a very clever animal, and the way it lives, its life is almost like human. It's very humble until you stir it up. It's strong, but more especially they chose that because it was a source of wealth during those days. There was trade in tusk, elephant tusk, and people used to marry using elephant tusk at that time. So it was also the major wealth of the people of Acholi. That is why for the kingdom's emblem, we also put the tusk there, and the drum. The drum is of course royalty, and the spear and the shield is defense of the people. Our culture is diverse. We have a lot. For example, the cuisine, the food that we have, we can prepare one type of food in so many different ways, at least 4 different ways of preparing a meal. And the meals are not just like 1 or 2. There are several meals that we can prepare. Cereals, vegetables, and apart from the common one, the meat and So that is one of it. And the other thing is the tradition of dancing. I think we have over 23 different dances, and which all signifies something. We have dances for the youth during the courtship. We have dances when there is no rain, that the women dance. We have the royal dance, which is performed for the kings and eminent people in the area, or visitors who come. So we have dances for every group of people. That alone is very spectacular when you watch the dances, especially those by the youth. It's quite entertaining. Gulu is a very nice place. This is because of the culture of the people of Acholi. The culture of the people of Acholi is welcoming, more especially to people who come from outside. And Acholi would want somebody who has not been with them to know of their hospitality, their kindness, so such that they receive everybody, irrespective of where they come from, and they can easily offer them a place to stay. And there is a saying in Acholi that once somebody has drunk water from your hands, that one becomes a friend. Before 2006, this was a place that was devastated by war, and the history is well known by everybody that there was a rebellion here that took a long time. People were all living in internally displaced people's camp, where life condition was very difficult. And looking at it now, having all that bad history and happenings, the war, abduction, killing, people suffering, And then to the Gulu now, you won't believe that this is a place that has experienced war of such a magnitude, because the development is picking up very quickly. Many people are coming. And I would say Gulu is the hub of northern Uganda in terms of business, even tourism. Gulu is the hub of northern Uganda. So when you see it developing and you see it the way it is now, that is because other people are also coming in. But one good thing is that the people here are hardworking. I think the president saw this all. He saw Uganda through his vision, which has been quite unique. Many people, I think, at the beginning didn't understand what he wanted to do and what he wanted Ugandans to be. But now that he's talking about, developments, and more especially development of families and individuals, where he wants wealth to go to the people, this is where his uniqueness comes in. Because many times people talk of the development, infrastructural development, but now he's talking about wealth for the people. So that makes him a leader of a kind. Where we have reached now, we need that transformation, because coming from the bad history of war, suffering, hopelessness that people had been in, first of all, we need to get away from that mindset that it is because of the war that we are like this. We are suffering because of the war. The war has gone maybe 10 years ago. We need to begin thinking about development of ourselves as individuals, and that is why we need to see our social arrangements, like the people of Acholi. What do we do together that can change our lives? And one thing that we are blessed with is the land. I think the world over, people fight over land, people want land, people live on land, people use land for production and so many things. That is why we are saying that our setting as Acholi people living together, we should use it to till our land, to grow food, and not just the traditional common food. We should begin growing cash crops, things like coffee, things like bananas, things like cocoa or cocoa, those perennial crops. Those are the things that we need to begin growing now, so that there is a transformation in the economic setting of the people of Acholi. We need to rear animals. That was our base, agriculture and rearing of animals, especially cows, goats, and sheep. We need to go and do that in a better way and with the mind of doing business. You see, it's as if, people are not sympathetic with the situation that we had been in, We had been suffering here. Not so many people came around to say hello or to look at the situation, or, how we are, or to give a hand, maybe somebody coming that I'm from this tribe, we want to, condole with you. We're sharing your pains. We know what you're going through, to console us also a little bit. Nobody came at that time. We went through alone. And now that we are gaining some bit of peace and settling down, then people begin coming in, And the way they come in, you don't understand, That means that there is something that is going on that we don't understand. And especially the coming of these people, I think some of our people, because people are vulnerable now, they don't think right at times. Some people went on and made deals with some people about land, giving out land or maybe selling it out. And all of a sudden, people are coming with thousands of heads of cattle, And talking of thousands of heads of cattle, or hundreds of heads of cattle coming here, they should also realize that we lost our cattle during the war. And we are still struggling with the government to pay it, to compensate us the government is not doing it well, we are not being compensated well. And if somebody is coming with a cow, that is like laughing at somebody's problem, And also, when people come in big numbers to your home, without your notice, you get concerned. Your neighbors do definitely get concerned about what is going on, And when these people begin misbehaving, because they didn't take time to understand the culture here, how people live here, they begin doing things that are sort of abusive here. You feel that it is insulting, So it gets people concerned. Not that we are selfish people. At the beginning, I told you that we are people who are welcoming. We like people, especially people who are from outside. We treat them very well. So the question of land here is just about being cautious. We want to be careful. Land has created problems the world over. So we don't want to slide back into a situation of war or conflict with other people. We want to settle, we want our wounds to heal. And therefore, if somebody is coming here about land, they should follow a right channel and let everybody know. They should not go behind the leaders to come and acquire land here because somebody is vulnerable and they can buy land cheaply. No. We all need this land, and we all need to develop this land, but it should be done in a proper way. Well, that is a good comment because he's seeing far ahead. He wants changes to come here. He wants development to come here because Dubai is a place that has brought people from all over the world. Because of the setting, because of the businesses that are there. So I envision that he wants businesses to accrue here of different people, but especially of the natives here, to have different businesses that will bring people here. And that will, of course, include tourism, because we have quite a number of sites that, if developed, can bring in tourists. To Acholi. General Saleh living here, he's good. I think he's a man of many experiences that we should not, that we should take advantage of, irrespective of what people think. I think he has a number of ways that he can help the people here. It's only the people here to organize themselves, to sort out the different enterprises that they want to undertake, and then discuss it with him. And he should also, when it is discussed with him, he should come forth quickly, to help people. I know people have been going in and out to him. Maybe others have succeeded in getting something to boost their business or start a business, but to me, before he lives here, there should be a change. For example, since the war, this palace here, the way you see it, it was run down one time. The army itself was living here before we came and took over it, So the footprint of Saleh should remain in Acholi by the things that he does, If he comes here and then puts a fence around this palace, makes the compound a little bit better, that's already a footprint that will last forever. But the better one is when he empowers people to earn money. When you want development, when you want to help people, I think you should get everybody involved. Some of us, like the cultural leaders, we can mobilize our people. When you know what is going on, you can mobilize them. But many of these things that are done, we just hear about them. The establishments that were put around here, whether small machines or medium machines that are put here, we do not know about them. So if they are doing such, they should bring us on board so that we can help them. For example, mobilizing the community, we can tell them of a project that is coming in, the good of the project and how it can be sustained. Because I think the problem is that most of the time some of these projects are brought, people look at it as a government project, and they think the government should do everything about it, such that when they meet some challenges, then they give up. And they think that is a government project, that is a government machine, that is in there, is none of our business. So the problem is about ownership. Right from the inception of the program, we should all be incorporated in with clear roles of what one can do. Then things will go on well. PDM is here. Just last week, I interested myself before that I should go out in the community and assess by myself. When the government talks of PDM, is it there? Are people aware about it? Are they benefiting from it? And also ask them what other programs are there that the government has done to benefit them, and what problems are there that they are facing that needs to be addressed. And going out there, everybody accepts that there is PDM. They say that the money is little. I said, yes, it is little, but that is what the government can afford now. So my role at this moment and the weeks and maybe a month or two to come ahead is to tell them that when you get the PDM money, plan for it wisely. Don't go for things that are beyond the amount of money. For example, if you are getting 1 million and you want to buy a cow, you might buy a cow and that is it. But if you go for something, I gave them this example that, let's say you got 1 million shilling, and then you go and buy just one pawpaw. Just one pawpaw, you come and eat it, and then you plant the seed. How many pawpaws are going to grow out of that? And then how many pawpaws are you going to sell out of that? A pawpaw of maybe about 2,000 shillings each, So that is the idea that I'm telling them, that they should realize that they should plan for something that they can manage and something that can give them money quickly, because at times they get discouraged that, okay, I got only 1 million shilling, maybe, going to check for the money, going to apply for the money, they used other money and they want to deduct out of it, such that in some places they say they get about 700,000 or 600,000. At the end, then somebody looks at that 700,000 and says, what am I going to do with this? Rather, I buy a mattress. That is what I have been lacking all along, So I'm telling them that whatever you get, this is government money, it's a revolving fund. Others also need to get it, after you, so you have to use it carefully. Plan well for it. So the PDM is there, and I'm telling them that our mindset should be a mindset to grow, not a stagnant mindset. And therefore we should change. We had been, like I said, having different problems. Let us move on and say, that problem has been there, yes. We realize that it is there. If there is anything that we can do about it, we need to do something about it. If there is nothing that we can do about it, let us find a way of moving ahead and doing other things that will develop us, that will put money into our pocket, that will empower us so that we cater for our own needs by our own selves, without thinking that there is somebody else who is coming, or maybe the government is going to provide for us everything. No, we should empower ourselves by working hard. The time that Mega Radio was brought here was at the heights of the insurgency here. And I think it developed from the local radios that I hear some support was given, and I think even General Saleh gave some support for that radio called Radio Freedom, which was here. So the transition of that radio and the bringing in of Mega, I think people didn't understand it. When Radio Mega came, many of us were consulted, and what we understood at that time, that this is a radio for the people of Acholi, and it's going to be used to help end the conflict that is here, So nobody bothered to find out who really owns the radio. For us, we took it at the face value that, Radio Mega is for the community, and that is it. So when this problem came, that is when we began understanding that, there are other stakeholders in this, and UBC is one of them. And that is where the question of the ownership by UBC came in. There is no big deal about that. It's just a matter of sitting down and explaining and coming out with documents that, these are the documents that says that it belongs to so and so. So that will sort things out, because the complaint also is that, it was given by some, I think, ministerial decree or something like that. I think one minister, gave it to UBC in a way that was not transparent, So that is where the complaint is there also. So that should be, because it's the government, and the government is about the people, and is doing it for the people, So if the people are saying, we also need a piece of it, let the government give that piece to the people, So it can be that Mega belongs to UBC, but in partnership with the local community. What would be wrong with that? It will be okay, so that people also own it fully, So yes, we need radios for mobilization, for communication and everything. I know there are other radio stations around, and for us as the kingdom, we need also to acquire one that we can do our programs without interruption. I think that is going to blow Gulu and Acholi and northern region open. When I say it will blow it open, which means it's going to expose it a lot more than it has been exposed now, because that is the world coming into Gulu, and we need, as the people of Acholi and the people of Uganda, to take advantage of it, that these big artists of the world are coming here, and we should also showcase what we have, in terms of our arts, and in terms of our culture, in terms of, music and everything that we do. Well, we want to be the best. Whether it being called the best city, the best place to live in, the best place to move to, we want to be the best. And I want actually to be a stable place, prosperous people, that are attached to their culture, and peaceful. My appeal to government and different stakeholders is that I know they have done quite a lot, but that a lot is not seen. They should find a way of doing it differently from what they've been doing before. I say this because programs like that of NUSAF, which came here, the impact is minimal, and they should know that this is a place that had been at conflict, been at war for a long time, 20 years or so, and it will also take about 20 years in order for this place to stabilize completely and turn it around. So they should not treat this place like any other places, And if they are giving anything, if they are planning for anything, they should plan here double, because we are catching up. We need to first catch up and then begin moving together with the rest of the country. My message should actually people, because to me politics is conflict resolution. The different groups comes with their position. They say, this is how we want, this is the ideology that we want to use, to deliver that, So it shouldn't be something that divides people. People should look at themselves. They should not come into politics because of other interest or maybe their personal interest. They should come into politics in order to deliver for the people. in order to move people from where they are to another level. So I would expect them to be understanding and peaceful during this time of the politics that is coming. They should choose the best that will help them. There should be no division. There should not be any segregation, whether being on because of religion, tribe, or anything. No, we should not use that to get somebody into office. They should know that the person they're sending or they're electing is the person that should stand for them and should be real. Because it's once, and then for another 5 years, if they misfire, then it's them to suffer. Yeah, we can't fail to thank the President of Uganda, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for the good things that he has done for Uganda. And for me, I do this on behalf of other kings in Acholi and in Uganda, that he restored the kingdoms. That is why I'm here speaking now. And we shall continue to work with the government, and especially in the socio-economic development of our people, and also to eliminate bad cultures that are still lingering within our communities, and also to ensure that our languages don't disappear, because that is the greatest part of our culture. I also want to thank my fellow chiefs here in Acholi, because we have been with them through a lot. We are the ones who initiated the Juba peace talks when I went on a journey to Naivasha in Kenya and met the late Dr. John Garang. Since then, we went out to Sudan, we went out to Congo, we went out to different places to see that there is peace here. We welcomed the people here, we moved into the camps, we sensitized people about land issues, and we are still here together and moving together, and we shall be together forever, because we are all one and we are all the people of Acholi. So I thank my fellow chiefs very much for standing for their people. I also want to thank the workers of Uganda. These are the ministers and other civil servants for being there for us. Without them, they are the technocrats. Without them, probably we couldn't do much, and the government wouldn't do much. And here in Acholi, I want to thank all our ministers who come from Acholi. I want to thank our members of parliament. I want to thank the chairman, LC5s, the councillors, the chairman, LC3s, up to chairman, LC1. I want to thank all levels of leadership here in Acholi, whether it being cultural, religious, or political. I want to thank the religious leaders so much. They never left us. We had been together with them during all this time, and we still continue to work with them because our people still need us. I also want to thank the non-governmental organizations. You know, they were doing other things that, you know, probably the government could not do. They were helping us with our movements, communications, and until now, I know most of them have moved out, but the ones that are still here, I also want to thank them for the great work that they're doing. I want to thank the UPDF. You know, in the past, we used to think the army is an evil thing, but the UPDF is a professional army, and there are so many things that they are doing to bring in peace, to guide us, to protect our country, to protect our wealth as a people of Uganda. And by that, I also want in a special way to thank General Salim Saleh, who has moved and is living here in Acholi for the work that he's doing. We want to see him do more. We want to see him do more for our people. And I want to thank my people of Acholi. for being resilient. And our neighbors, the Langi, the Banyoro, the Madi, the Ralur, the Karamojong, the people of South Sudan, and all Ugandans. And finally, I want to thank UBC for having come here and made me to come out of my house, sit here, and speak to my people. Thank you so much.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Coming soon on UBC.
So any work which exposes you to dust, which you inhale, may lead to occupational lung diseases.
We went gold hunting in Mubende, and that's where I contracted this illness.
Some who may not go off oxygen and may need oxygen for a lifetime.
It becomes a disadvantage to other patients who would have used the bed.
In Mulago National Referral Hospital, when these patients are put on oxygen, they improve. But then they cannot go home because they need oxygen and they cannot have enough oxygen from the air.
Coming soon on UBC.
The Uganda People's Defence Forces is set to undergo significant changes with the recent proposed Amendments Act. But what do these amendments mean for the country's constitutional framework? On Behind the Headlines this Wednesday, we delve into the proposed changes, including the formalization of the Special Forces Command and the creation of a Joint Military Command. What implications, if any, for the separation of powers and the rule of law? We'll examine the potential consequences of these changes and what they mean for the future of democracy in Uganda. Don't miss Behind the Headlines with Timothy Nyangweso this Wednesday at 10 p.m.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Did you know that our number one value as a nation is to respect and protect the environment? With the current population increase of Uganda and industrialization, this has increased pressure on the natural resources, resulting into environmental degradation and global warming. Developing countries like Uganda could face 80% of the global climate change effects by the year 2030 if no action is taken. Join us here on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda, on our Eco Plus program, where we bring you an in-depth analysis of issues that are disastrous to our environment. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. only on your loved station, the National Broadcaster. International Women's Day is celebrated annually on 8th March. It is a time to reflect on progress made, to call for change and to celebrate acts of courage and determination play by women. On Saturday, 8th March, Uganda will join the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day. The national celebrations will be held in Changwanzi district under the theme Accelerate Action for Gender Equality. The President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will be the chief guest. Join us for the live broadcast to witness outstanding women receive medals in recognition of their achievements and contributions to the country. Happy Women's Day.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
oil and gas sector in Uganda is implemented along what is called regulatory best practice. Regulatory best practice requires that you separate policy, regulation, and business. So in Uganda, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development handles policy and licensing. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda handles regulation, while the Uganda National Oil Company handles business. The role of the Petroleum Authority of Uganda is really to regulate the country's oil and gas sector.
In this exclusive documentary showcasing Uganda's oil and gas sector, we bring you up to speed with current information on Uganda's upstream and midstream oil and gas sectors. Barrel is a magazine that specializes in oil and gas in Uganda. Our core objective is to communicate accurate, up-to-date information and data about Uganda's oil and gas sector to our readers and all the stakeholders in order to foster equitable decision-making and utilization of all the available opportunities. On the 6th of January 2026, the government of Uganda announced its commercial oil discovery after striking oil at Mputa 1 well.
In total, we drilled about 21 discovery wells within Albert and Graven. And out of that discovery, a number of appraisal wells were drilled to understand the extent of oil within these different discoveries. The total wells that were drilled were up to 121. The success rate was over 80% out of the 121 that were drilled.
Since then, a total of 21 discoveries has been made, which contains an estimated 6.5 billion barrels of oil with 1.5 billion barrels recoverable. One of the 21 discoveries, 14 have already been fully appraised and given the green light for development. In September 2013, the Uganda government awarded China National Offshore Oil Corporation, CNOOC Uganda Limited, a production license for the Kingfisher oil field on the shores of Lake Albert in Buhuka, Chikuwe district. This marked the transition from exploration and appraisal to development and production. In August 2016, 3 production licenses were awarded to Total Energies Uganda and 5 production licenses were awarded to Tullow Uganda. These 5 were later transferred to Total Energies E&P Uganda under the Tilenga project. Due to protracted legal battles between the government of Uganda and the international oil companies during Tullow's exit, plus the COVID-19 pandemic, Uganda had to wait until February 2022 to make the final investment decision, FID, on Kingfisher, Tilenga, and East African crude oil pipeline projects. The final investment decision, which was signed between Total Energies EP Uganda, CNOOC Uganda, Uganda National Oil Company UNOC, and Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation, marked a critical moment in Uganda and Tanzania's oil and gas sector by unlocking investments to the tune of 15 to 20 billion US dollars into development of Uganda's oil and gas sector.
The agreements that Uganda has with the oil companies that are licensed are currently, they are production sharing agreements. And so in those, they provide for where an investor invests the money to confirm the volumes of oil, to prepare how the oil is going to be produced, and also eventually produce the oil. Now, once the oil is produced, the country gets a royalty because it's the resource owner. The company recovers costs after taking off the cost recovery, which gives the opportunity to have an amount remaining which is shared between the government and the companies. So then you have